Hey guys, so today I'm going to review the LEGO set 70317, the Fortrex. This set has 1,140 pieces. It was originally released back in January 2016, and it originally goes for $100. So first, let's go over the minifigures. The first minifigure here is Clay. He's the main knight for the next knight's line. He, of course, his main blue color scheme along with a lot of gray, which the other knights have as well. You can take off his mask, which they use this kind of piece here, this kind of hood up piece, and you can take the whole headpiece off and look at his expressions along with his armor. His weapons are inside the Fortrex, so I'm not showing them off. Next is Axel, who of course has a big axe, since the name. He has these much more pronounced chest pieces, so that you can kind of more bulk to him, and his arms can connect using these Technic pieces, which are interesting. I've never really seen this done before. Definitely the first figure I've had ever really that use this. And of course he also has the face expression underneath. And overall I think it's an interesting figure. I like what they did with it, and this is like the only set that he came in until later on. But it's a pretty interesting figure. Next is Aaron, who, same thing with him. You can take off his head and he has his expressions. Of course, you can take off the hood. He uses this kind of, not only a stud shooter, like they really never use this piece, but I kind of want to see them return, but you basically can fire it off like a stud shooter. And you can use his shield to kind of fly around in. Next here is Chef Eclair, who I don't have the main accessory to. He uses a lot of these weird pieces I don't use ever, they don't really use these pieces anymore. They really just use them for the robots, but they kind of connect with these, just a lot of these hook type pieces. And of course he has the skeleton legs as feet. Doesn't have any other expressions, and uses a chef hat along with his face, which is secretly unhappy. And then you get an Ash Attacker, another interesting figure. You give him a dynamite and just his normal face expression along with the mask. I like the armor piece, but these are more of just the goons. And last are these two Scurriers, who each have a weapon. I'm pretty sure these aren't the weapons that came with in the set. I know he came with like a dynamite piece or something, or one of them did, and I just kind of gave him these weapons. And they do have a lot of interesting pieces. I wish they used these molds more, because they're interesting, to say the least, and they're kind of chunky. And also the set goes with this book, which a lot of them other sets go, but it has this nice translucent purple piece, which I always appreciate when they use that, and it has this monster from the other set I reviewed. The set also goes with two vehicles. This first one is this little bad guy vehicle with some lava detailing, a lot of dark brown pieces, little engines. And the main feature is you just open up the mouth and you just push this Technic piece back here and you fire it, and this little thing will come out. It's kind of stuck in there, so it's kind of holding pretty good, and you just kind of fire it, and now that went all over the place. That's mainly this vehicle in a nutshell. The second one is this little motorcycle, which I usually put Axel in. Kind of just fit him in there. It's kind of alright. You can I put a shield there. There's a little holder. Because you can roll this around. You can just move these little fins down, but it really doesn't do much. That's all really for the small builds. So here's the Fortrex itself. A pretty impressive model. I'm gonna go over this kind of quickly since it is a lot of stuff going on here. I might as well just start with the front. There's of course stud shooters. These 6 ones, 2 on each side of the towers here, which of course have these little flaps here, along with a couple room for figures. Some nice detailing. I'm not going to fire these, of course, though. There's also this main drawbridge, which you are able to pull down using this lever, which I'll show you in a second, because that goes with another feature. There's 2 more stud shooters, which you can take out and kind of use for figures, along with some Technic pieces that they used for this. And you can kind of pull this back up, and you kind of make sure it's all tight in there. Of course, this thing will move with the tank treads. There's a lot of ways you can hold this. I'm just going to hold it like this so I can kind of show you. They use these kind of rubber pieces in order to move this thing more easily. And now I'm just going to turn this thing around kind of like this. And I'm also probably should show you this feature here, where you can put Aaron. This is his main kind of vehicle for this set. And then of course there's other vehicles of his. And to fire this, you just push that. But there's one other feature besides moving these. So if you attach the main vehicle onto this part here using this stud, or not really stud, just this Technic type piece, when you lower the drawbridge, it comes out. And it's held on there pretty well. I'm going to try and get it out. And you can put it back on here. So that's an interesting feature. And also you can kind of move it around here. You kind of stick it on. And I like how you can do that with the drawbridge. Now I'm also going to show you more of the back area before I open this up. This is kind of what it looks like on the inside when it's all closed up and the interior. if actually I probably should not have moved this drawbridge down, because you can also place the motorbike, which fits in there kind of well. There's really snug when you load it up, and you can take it out. I'm going to move this back up. A lot of the gear systems here. You have a little control area here and a prison, which you can put a couple figures inside, along with some ladders and little areas where you can put figures, and also each side has a storage bin where I place a piece of dynamite here. And overall, the design is kind of nice, and now I'm going to show you how to open this up. So to open up the back side, all you really have to do is twist this knob on both sides, and they both kind of pop out. And you can easily use these kind of pin pieces here and, you know, kind of detach them out a bit. It doesn't affect the wheels in any way. Of course, you can't move it like this unless you want to move it like this, but it's very stiff. And I'm just going to show you the sides real quick. There's these little pulley kind of systems, little control centers that control this little laser piece here. There's one on each side, a lot of wall pieces and places to put figures. And also on this side here, you have Clay's sword along with his shield, which you can hang up, a little charging station. You also have these two dummies, which, you know, of course is holding the weapons. This little sword kind of clips in. It's an interesting mold for that sword. You can take both of these out. They use these kind of, these pieces here, which of course that just kind of came out. So this one you can kind of just move that a little bit jointed, place that back in there. This one is just a little droid type piece, so you can kind of swivel around, and of course it's got the shield as well. You can kind of swivel its face up a bit. Now this side just has food, there's a little chicken leg in here, room to place Axel's weapon and some Nexo shields, along with more room for weapons. And of course there's also this little area here which I'll show you. So to open up this main area here, you really just have to push this forward and back to open up the chairs. You can open them more clearly. I'm just going to put them back in their normal position here. And you can take this whole area out, of course. And this is, you can also move these to kind of stand it. But this is the main wizard guy. I'm not 100% sure what his name was. You know, I don't really follow the show at all, really. But it's an interesting little model here. And I also, just in general, like the little display area they have here. You can kind of swivel him around to move him. And then you can just close this thing back up to move it around again. And I like how you could just squeeze things in, but if you just have it out more, it'll definitely be less compact. So overall, this is a pretty interesting set. I really like the features it has all over it, and in general it's a pretty good deal along with the figures, and the design itself is interesting. And I hope you guys enjoy this review, and bye guys.